and welcome to ESNcast. Today I'm going to show you how I did the installation for the rear Sharkset suspension. Thank you very much for watching, and if you are interested in this suspension you can order it at mymaxmodes.com or also at sharkset.com. This is the best suspension out there for the 9-baud max. Don't miss out. Get it today. mymaxmodes.com, sharkset.com.
Now I have the scooter open. As you can see, the screws will not come out fully. If you don't pull them out fully, they will stay in there, so it's easy. So you don't have to be dealing with the screws later on. You just put it back in and screw it in. So next step. So this usually comes tied up. So we're not gonna touch anything else. We're not gonna plug anything from here, nothing from here. So we're gonna avoid that step. This is a seal for to protect from the water to come into the chamber of the battery and the controller and electronics. So what we're gonna do is just push it out, push it in a little bit more, something like that. So the wrench we're gonna need to do this part over here is about 3 inches length that is gonna come out until here. So we're gonna try to give that to this already, and try not to the wires not to touch the corners because they're very sharp. So I want to make sure that it is protected properly, because that could do damages. This is very important for you guys to do it properly. Remember that everything is connected, so you don't want to have any inconveniences due to it. So the next step is going to be remove the screws from there, as I was saying earlier. So we need this heat take over there. So now we have that loose. That's it. So we got this out. So what I'm going to do is just put it on the side, right there. I'm gonna bring the scooter back to position, standing position. So we're gonna start from front. So we have 3-1 screw, and number 2 is right there. So what we're gonna do is leave it all the way until there. Now we're gonna grab our Allen key that is 2.5 millimeters, and we're gonna start removing those screws out. So we don't want to pull them out fully. So again, if you leave the screws in place, you don't have to be looking at mixing them up later on. So we're gonna try to keep them inside the same parts that we're gonna remove, because they're gonna have to come back to the same place anyways. As we can see, the screws are gonna be right there. They're gonna stay right there. So what we do is just gentle, put it like that, and then we can put out the fork aside, and we know that the screws are gonna stay inside. They're not gonna fall off. Start removing, and again, to keep the screws in place, your head dryer or heat gun just in this area. So this, when you lift it up, becomes clean and it's able to do right there. So now this one will be the torque number 15, the same one that it unlocks underneath. So now, as we can see, we remove those 4 screws. Over here is the ones that they're connected to, 1, 2, 3, and 4. That we removed them already from underneath.
Okay, let's begin with this. We're going to proceed to remove the protective shelf that is placed for the acrylic. It's like a paper or plastic. So we're going to have to unassemble these parts. Before you actually start unassembling the parts, it's best for you to take a picture of the part so you actually remember exactly how to put it back after of being clean. Do one part at a time, keep your screws together so it's easy for you to put them back. And remember to use thread locker in your screws that you know that you're not going to be actually removing back again. Use blue thread locker for best in case they need to be removed at some point. Now take a knife and let's begin to peel off the stems. Just pay attention how do I do it using the end of a knife and holding it with the tip of my finger to peel off easy. And remember to do one at a time so you don't make a mistake later on because it's a lot of parts and you might be having a headache trying to put things back together. Put your screws in and tie them up fully because these are not going to be removed anymore once you put it back in the part that it needs to be. Now these flat head screws, tie them up fully with a lot of pressure actually. This part I didn't tighten up when I was doing this, so but it's best for you to tighten up fully at once in this step. And let's continue to remove the protective shield from the acrylic parts. So as you can see on the whites they have that plastic that within time that looks damaged, so it's best to remove it at once.
So again, so simple. Follow instructions in the manuals, and then you have to put your parts separate, so it's easier for you to do the installation later on. So it's very important to follow what I'm going to be doing because otherwise you might end up undoing parts, and we don't want to do that. So we're gonna do all at once. Hey guys, and since we are in the process of doing the installation of the suspension, I want to show you a couple of things, that are key and are very important for you to understand and how to do them. So as we know, the Sharkset rear suspension, it comes with two springs. One is for 100 kilograms and less, the one that comes already pre-installed, and then the other one that is for 100 kilograms and above. So there is two ways how to change this. I'm going to show you the one I like to do because as I know, and I've done it before, is that when I remove that screw from here, always becomes loose. So we don't want to actually mess with that part over here. We want to do the other way, and it's a very simple way to do it. If you do it the way I'm going to show you, all you're gonna need is a few screws and some parts like this and sockets. Anyways, let's begin. So as we can see over here, this one, you lose this completely. In case you want to do this part, so you go ahead and do that. Push this up, put this rubber up, and then you get to this one. So the way you're gonna do it is you're gonna grab a screwdriver, and you see that is another part I don't like about it, because once you put the screwdriver here, you're gonna put a lot of force to this part, so the cylinder could become bended. Let's proceed and do that the other way. I like to do it. So first thing, I'm going to remove the butchers. As we can see, these are very simple to do. Now, these chocks are being made a little bit different and very strong, so I mean, the way that I said now is way more better. Sharkset is becoming better and better. So here we go. So as you can see, I mean, this thing doesn't come out. You don't want to hammer it, like you don't want to put it in the bias, because I mean the jaws of the bias is very rough, and that will ruin the cylinder. So what you're gonna do is to start is you're gonna put the bigger bolt. I mean, this one I don't have another one, smaller one. Otherwise, I will show you how to do this. So look at this. It's very simple. So we have it right there already. So our next step is gonna be to hold it in one end, right here, so this doesn't turn. Then we go to the other side. Once it's a little bit tight in there, that thing will not move. See? So all we need to do is just keep turning. You can see I'm in the limit already, so this bolt over here doesn't go in. So we're gonna use the other bolt. As you can see, it's almost out. So we go back to square one, put that back in, same knot. So look, once that is tight, it comes out. Can we see? We got fully out, the cylinder without having to hammer it or anything. This thing is like nothing happened. So now when you have done that, what you're gonna do, simply remove completely this part. See, you get out the nut, get the spring out, put the bigger one in. Anyways, I wanna keep the same small one. So yeah, just remember that this the thread over here is the one that is gonna go down. Anyhow, so that's the way to remove it. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to remove this one, and this one should be easy to remove. As you can see, you just remove the old one. You're not going to remove the plastic. Just going to remove this one, and you simply going to put this one in, the one that it came from there. Put the bushers on the sides, like this. Put the other one, and then you are ready to replace this one. So it's remember, this is 150 millimeters. So you will be looking to install the same dimensions. It's 150 millimeters from eye to eye. Anyway, so that is done. So that's how how you replace the cylinder. If you get air shocks, new ones, then you don't need to do this, because it will fit just perfectly going to this, from this to that one. All right, so we got the air shock right there out. So let's go back to put this back in. So as I was saying, anyways, any direction will work. So let's put it this way. Push it on the side, square right there. Go to the other side. Like this. We will hold it like this. And that's it. So as we can see, done. I need to remove it. Remove the nut. And that's it. Done. So that's how you replace how to exchange the spring. And also, if you have done these changes already, and you're gonna put the same air shock that you're using for the other suspension, just simply do this process, and that's about it. And then I tied up these nuts, so let's continue with the rest. So we're going to the right side, so we're going to start with this. Line up the screws with the nuts. Now I have the wrench that comes with the set, so but this is a lot of little pieces, so we're going to try to do it as fast as possible, so I have to spend keep you the whole day or make a couple of videos for a single installation. We don't want to do that, so we're going to proceed using the best tools to do it quicker. So here we go. Done. We don't want to put too much pressure to the acrylic because it might break. Alright, so this part is ready to be installed. So we're going to proceed with this, and it's going to go that way. So we're going to start with one first, which is going to be the front. As we can see, this is the front part of the suspension to that side. So we're going to put this one over here first. We're going to put a nut on the other side, like this. So we put this one in, like this. Let's proceed with this one over here. So we're going to do the nut on the other side. Alright, so I couldn't find anything that is actually so I'm gonna use just a butcher from the the ones that are for the suspensions. I mean for the air shocks. Right there. As you can see, it's pretty big. Might possibly do the job. Alright, so now let's tie up all the screws. And it worked. Look, it did work. Okay, so that's how it goes. Perfect. So now we have the guard perfectly installed, so let's proceed with the next part. Okay, so to do this installation properly, we're going to work only in the right side arm. So because we're going to have to install them in the way that this needs to be installed, it has to happen at the end compacted this way. So it cannot go like this down straight, so it's going to have to be this way. So we're going to work only in the right side arm. So what we're going to do is put the base first. Then remember that the 2, 4, 6 are bigger at the 18 millimeters. Alright, so we're gonna use the nuts at once. This doesn't need any thread locker because the nuts are nylon head. So let's hold this thing up from here. The key. Then another one. Let's leave them a little loose because you cannot actually tie them up, otherwise it will not fit in the other side. So this one is to go this way, just like this. Okay. So remember, we are using 18 millimeters M5 over here. And it's going to be only one actually. Be patient, you will make it work. Be patient. Again, this is attaching the 3 parts together. We have the black acrylic, the white acrylic, and the base. And on top of this, and the very bottom is the base of the arm of the suspension. So you want to understand that 1, 2, 3 parts plus the base of the suspension. Okay, so we got that ready. As we're working on the one side, so we're gonna do this one first, which is 12 millimeters. This one is 12 millimeters. Okay, that one is there. And this one is going to be 16 millimeters. It's going to be that single one. It's going to be on the top. That one we can put it at once. Not underneath. It's looking nice. We have the first part already done. We're gonna do the decorations on the right size. We're not gonna put them all the way through until we have all the screws lined up. Again, we're gonna have to get something that really works. This is alright, so that is done. Remove this screw from here for proceeding. And this is a torque support. Screws out. Please don't mind the wires around and all that, because I have over here the Fat Max installed. So when I'm doing all this, I have to redo everything in order to make this video. So please guys, give me thumbs up if you like what I'm doing. I'm trying to do a lot of coordination, so it's easy for you to do this installation. Subscribe to my channel, that's important too. Alright, so just remember not to mix up your part. So for this one, for this part, it's going to be, so you can see, C cup head M4 by 8, 4 pieces, 2 in each side. The holes that you're going to be using are the small ones, the ones very close to the axle right there. So that's your screws going to go through the other side. So again, go back there, put this piece in. Do not tighten it. We need to leave it that position like that, right there. A little bit. So now we are going to use this nut. I'm going to use some thread locker. Believe me, this the vibration in this part of the suspension is heavy, especially if you have a bad tire like the one I'm using right now. Alright, so I'm going to make sure this is aligned properly. Alright, so now we're going to put pressure. Tight up the nuts fully now. Okay. As you can see, whenever you're doing pressure, I mean, you don't do solid pressure to it, you go this way. Shake it until you get to the max that that thing can hold. Alright, so that is done.
Note that this support was created for those scooters that are actually damaged from screws or broken or something like that. So this support will help to hold up the weight in the pressure from the shock on the top of the scooter. In other words, this support is actually not needed if all the screws are good in the top part of the frame of the scooter. But if you want, you can actually install it. It's your choice.
To put this part over here, this part, it goes under here, and this is a great support. I already tested. I made the parts myself to attach it, because it doesn't bring the screws for it. So that's what I did. Really made two actually, one screw from underneath and one on the other one. So this is the middle. This one I just made them from scrap metal that I have. So and I put 2 M6 12 millimeters length. So this is gonna be, I mean, it's just a little shorter than this part over here. So when this gets together over here, it's gonna clump and it's gonna make it really secure. As you can see, the wires that I have already here. So the wires for the light are gonna come up over here. So you're gonna have to find a way how to secure the wire. Maybe attach it somewhere right here somehow. So so this thing doesn't get loose. And another possibility is to find out exactly the length that you're going to be using, and then put the rest of the wire inside the scooter instead. This is the bottom part of the shock. So this is going to go this way. So, and it tells us that we need to use H button shock absorber bushing, which is this one right here. So just read the label and follow what I'm going to do right now. You're going to use M6 screws for this part of it. And this has to be done actually before, because the way it is that the screws are attached over here. And in any future, if you need to change the absorber, you're going to have to undo the whole part. You're not going to be able to remove this absorber without having to remove this whole part, okay? So the way this is going to work is you're going to put it this way, like this. Bring it like this. Put your shock in. Keep pushing. Like this. And then put the other bushing on the other side. Like this. So this is supposedly, it is perfect, and it has a slash on both sides. So now what we are going to do, we're going to use the F actually bolt. It says M6 by 12, and it says 6 pieces, so it's a 6 pieces for, but because of different parts of it. All right, so we got this one here. And just look at it, that it's already treated with a blue thread lacquer. Okay, so he only provides one of these keys, so we're gonna have to get another one, because for this is needed too. Yeah, luckily I have some of his Allen keys that he sent previous kits. So we have the shock already there in position. So we're now ready to begin the installation of this part. That's gonna go that way, like this, underneath. I'm gonna use the blue thread lacquer. All right, so that's it. Now let's see if this is gonna be that in that position. Okay, yeah. All right, so let me get the screws for this part. All right, so what's gonna happen here is I got 16 millimeters M4s. It's very important to upgrade the bolts whenever you are doing this doing changes like such as this one, that you know it's not gonna be a mud guard already anymore being held over here. It's gonna be your body, all your weight. It's gonna be held right here. This absorber pushing a lot of pressure to it. So you wanna make sure that these bolts are good. So I'm gonna do 16 in the front and 16 in the back, 16 millimeters. I will not do any thread lacquer right now, but you should do the thread lacquer. Once you feel that the key doesn't want to go in, don't push it because it might damage. So now I'm ready to do this part. This part, the one that I'm doing right now, I put so much pressure to it. Like today when I tested, this thing was so tight just with these two bolts. You can see it looks a little bit deep already from that part, from only the pressure that I just put on. So that part, I mean, yeah, if you can install this part, do it, and do it in the way as I did. This one right there. So what screws does it need? It needs two M6 14 millimeters. 3 screws over here round is the letter A, round head, M5 by 8, 3 pieces. I'm going to be leaving this part, I'm going to be install this tube, leaving this one alone, but you guys should do the 3 of them. That's it. Alright, so in the moments that you guys have been waiting for is here already. So as we know, we have the this part's already ready to go. They're already set, and we have the right side, so we're good to go. So what I want to explain over here is that between the two bearings there is a butcher in there in the middle. So you can see right there, as you can see, that is the issue right there. So we push it up. So if you find yourself that the swinging arm doesn't actually want to go in, don't hammer it, don't put any pressure to it, because basically is what is not letting it go all the way through is that butcher in there. As you can see, it's a spacer actually between the two bearings, so just pay attention to that part. All right, so the next thing is when you're doing this type of installations, you want to make sure, as you can see, the parts are already set. So you put this part over here, and then when you put the second one, you want to make sure that these things are almost in the position that they need to be, because if we put this one like let's perhaps say this one goes like this, it stays over here, and then once you try to put it in, it will not work, because you see the all the space that it has to move is just about that part. So let's try to do it so you guys can understand better. Don't get frustrated because it will work. See that thing? You don't need to actually do too much more than make sure that it's in position. All right, so we put this one to the front. Now, when we put this one up, we make sure it's almost in the same place. As we can see, that's the gap. That's what I'm talking about. So now we have this one line. See, it's already in, and that's it. So now we're ready to put the screws over here. But first, we are going to put the size. As we can see that the screws are already threaded with the thread locker, so you don't need to actually put anything to it more than tie them up. This one's can get a little bit of pressure actually. So when you put pressure to this type of bolts, what you do is like this. Don't do it at once because they might get damaged. And that's it. All right, so the longer bolts are gonna be this 3 in line and smaller in the side. So I get one over there. Second here. Third one here. Don't put too much pressure, remember it's acrylic plastic on the top, so right. Tighten this one too. Now this one I really can get a lot of pressure because it's metal against metal. Oh, I like this. It's very smooth. As I see it, as I was looking at the pictures, as we can see here in the light, the installation of the light, I can tell right here, I mean that everything else is actually done after. As you can see, the light installation, that this hole is still empty, so this picture was taken actually before putting the light on. So let's begin with that first. See, so there is not even a label about it, so it doesn't say nothing more than the C cup head M4 4 pieces, and I believe those are the ones that are going to be attaching the parts and the size. So let's see, I'm going to start with that part first. I'm not going to speak, it requires a lot of concentration actually the way that parts are in place. You can see there is no axle in it. So yeah, this is the light that goes first, and then we proceed with the rest of the parts attachments. So this goes like this. See, this is going to go here. So that's going to be your position, and then you're going to put this one, this to the top, the screw facing down, and then in the hole, which is this one right here, then you put a screw through it with the butcher in the middle. So it's going this way, like this. And then we end up with a nut on the other side. And alright, now that this is like this, as you can see, I'm gonna put it at position, so just we can put the screws on. So this is going to go like this. Alright. Perfect. Let's eliminate that. Okay, so now we need the 4 screws. First we're gonna do the bottom nut, the bottom screw. Very good. So the light is installed. So now the next thing is just a matter of finding the way how to put it together. As I was saying earlier, the position you want to put it on. Alright, so the light is installed. So next thing is going to be to install the shock. Alright, so for this it says that it's going to be the G-top shock absorber bushing 12 by 17 millimeters. So let's see what's happening with that. Okay, so this we're gonna begin by pushing this one through right there, pushing in the middle, right, then hard right there, then proceed to the next pushing on the other side. And that is there. Now we're gonna put the screws in size. Don't need to put thread locker because it already has. Alright, we're gonna leave it like that because we need to put the next one, which is the front, and it says it is J alignment axle. As per I remember, it's gonna go with these two B flat head M5 by 18 pieces. Alright, so this is gonna go right there, like this, as you can see, in the front. Okay, this from this side. Alright. You see, if we have a little space like this, we have that little space like I chose over here. It's because one of the sizes is not properly aligned. So that's what I just did, align it. Now let's see if it goes through. Okay, that is done. Okay, suspension is installed. Okay, for the light, you guys gonna have to don't get the line near here, because this thing, when it's it's an absorbent, so this thing, all those springs coming like this. So, and if the wire gets in, it'll get caught. So best way is to get it to the side, and then as we can see, the wires I have here, those run over here and then enter through the hole for the light. So that's going to be your entrance right there, the same way, doing the connection actually in the inside of the scooter, not leaving any connection outside, because now this one is more exposed than regular connections. So to prevent the light to get damaged, it's going to have to be done that way. Before you put this part, you're going to run your wire over there, get it in, touch inside the scooter. Alright guys, so we're gonna do two installations. I have the Fat Max, is actually the one that is for the scooter, but unfortunately I just tested in this the disc touches over here. I could grind it, cut a little bit to the nut, but that would not be the ideal thing. Okay, so Fat Max, actually it is 2 inches 55 millimeters. It's 2 inches and a half, Fat Max. And then we have versus the standard G30, which is 2 inches and 30. So it's about 2 inches and a quarter, a little more than a quarter. No chance for the Fat Max, the big tire to fit right here, unfortunately. Alright guys, so we're gonna do the installation of this. So we get over the installation part. So as explained over here, we're gonna start by doing the G30, the standard motor. As we can see, we are going to do this way, as explained it in the installation book. But this need to go first in right there. Okay, for this, right. And the other side we're gonna do the same. We're gonna put the spacers. They fit perfectly great. Alright, just make sure that your wire is in position as you want it. Yep, that's how it goes. And then simply, what you're gonna do is put your top nut there, then you put the other one on the other side. Like this. Put one nut. Second nut. And tighten it. And that's it. That's the installation for the standard motor for the scooter. All you need to do is put the spacer inside of the suspension swinging arm and the other side too, and then just put the torque washer and then put your regular nut, and that'll be all. That will be the installation for this one. Now let's do the Fat Max. So this one we get it out. For that we don't need anything else. Now we get the Fat Max in. This doesn't need any nuts on it, more than seated. This should be perfectly right there. As you can see, doesn't need any spacers in the middle. So more than, oh, that fits perfectly good. Oh, it's not this one, it's the bigger nut. There we go. Right there. Right there. And for that, of course, you need this bigger. And that's it, guys.
This is ES and CAS. You have successfully installed the new Sharkset Rear suspension. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.